I love the river. We fell in love with the river when I was about 14, and just a wonderful upbringing for young people on the river. We met people, we loved to play, ski, and just have really great memories. Ken and I were married on the river, and we live on the river. We wanted our children to be raised on the river.
We have never not lived on the river, which is a real blessing in and of itself. Of course, she grew up on the river. You know, they called those kids river rats. And my son is a river rat with all his buddies, and they are out here all the time. She cares about this river deeply and has been part of her soul since she's been born.
Lynetta Usher Griner grew up in Chiefland, not far from the Swanee River, with her sister Karen and brother Tommy. When she was young, her parents, E.T. and Helen Usher, started buying parcels for a family farm. On the weekend, the kids were expected to help out with the chores.
We jokingly say that we hated all those chores, but I think we have really fond memories of family time together. I was never involved in 4-H or FFA or anything like that in school. I guess I did an awful lot of studying and was more interested in reading and that kind of thing than the outdoors. Since I can remember, I wanted to go to law school. So that was always my plan, and I'm a real planner. So that's what I did.
Although Ken and Lynetta knew each other from childhood and their families socialized, the couple never dated until they were in college. Soon they were married. After graduating from the University of Florida Law School, Lynetta opened her practice in Chiefland while Ken ran his car dealership in Cross City. In 1987, their son Corey was born. The Ushers are now in their 4th generation in forestry. Lynetta's grandfather, E.T. Usher Sr., began working in the turpentine business in North Florida in the early 1900s. Her father, E.T. Eder Usher Jr., operated a logging business in the same area in the late 40s. In 1984, her brother Tommy returned home after graduating from college to join his father in the family business.
In May of '89, Tommy, my brother, was killed in a boating accident.
Well, we lost Tommy. After 2 or 3 months, I tried to sell the business. Then I talked Lynetta into coming out there and being with me. Instead of selling the business, she wanted to keep it and talk her husband into coming over and helping run this business. I was around at that time, and I taught him what little I know, and he's learned the rest of it on his own, and so did she. But they've done an excellent job.
So we just felt like that was where we needed to be, and it was important for us to do that instead of what we thought we had wanted to do all our lives. So I sold my practice, Ken sold the car dealership, and we became full-time loggers and cattlemen and all that.
It didn't come easy. Certainly the tragedy of losing Tommy, all that emotion, the transition from an older generation managing a business to a new generation.
So I need to take 2 steers.
Ken and Lynetta, working hand in hand, have really, really done a good job.
We're just so blessed that Lynetta was there and ready and willing to take on the family business. They were hard shoes to fill, but she's done a great job doing it. I think one thing we forget is that in those early years, Lynetta was doing all of that with a broken heart.
Now, Lynetta and Ken's son Corey is part of Usher Land and Timber. Known in the industry for its excellence, the operation has received Audubon's Sustainable Forestry Award and the Swanee River Partnership County Alliance for Responsible Environmental Stewardship, the CARES Award. Usher Land and Timber was named Outstanding Logger of the Year for Florida, then for the region. In 2003, it was recognized as National Outstanding Logger of the Year.
Everybody works here as well as myself take pride in that, knowing that, their boss is, highly regarded throughout the whole state.
Do the overweight permit and also the federal use tax.
Her involvement is
It's
crucial
not ready.
to everything that goes on here at this company.
There's a lot of times.
You see where her desk is in the office. I mean, there's no getting in or out of that office without seeing her. She brings a lot to the table as far as her, being an attorney, writing our own contracts here in-house. She handles a lot of the paperwork. The time it leaves this office is looked at to the very last detail, and she's very detail-oriented, and nothing gets by her.
We hired a new secretary, Kelly, earlier this year, and she jokes that anybody that comes into our office is either related to us, graduated with me, or used to work with us. And that's about the truth of it. What about this United Fuels? Is this highway or off-highway fuel?
It's going to be off-road logging.
Okay. We have a lot of employees who have been employed for us for many, many years. Some of them who never worked anywhere except with us.
Been here somewhere in the neighborhood of 33, 35 years. One big happy family.
Been here for 25 years. It's very much a family-oriented business here.
Really a blessing to be part of this.
That's funny.
That's a lot of fun having lunch together. Get a chance to talk, play jokes, talk business, whatever,
During those luncheons and breakfast
And that's a lot of fun.
Like, this operation is definitely one big family, and that's something I grew up learning. It's not just the people in the office that make it happen. It's the guy running the loader, to the driver, to the guy feeding our cattle. It's everybody coming together.
Her presence is huge. The employees respect her. She respects the employees.
Without them, we can't be successful. So they're as important to us as the rest of our family, because we spend as much of our life with them as we do with anybody else. We couldn't do it without them.
Everybody sees this professional business side very intelligent, very to the point. For people that don't ever get to see the other side.
Okay, good job, Lynetta.
She's just a tremendous amount of fun. She's more fun than a sack full of cats.
I like to have fun, and I like to have things done, and I like to have fun getting things done.
Lynetta has done a really good job at reaching out to people and representing agriculture in general. And at every opportunity, she is ready and willing to either write an op-ed or a letter to the editor or conduct an interview. And as time permits, open the gate and let folks come and see their operations.
To show food industry professionals firsthand how cattle are humanely raised and treated, the Griners hosted the Florida Beef Council's Farm to Fork tour at their ranch.
Ken has certainly grown the cattle operation, and he really enjoys being out there on his horse and riding in the pastures and just seeing God's beauty, I think. So certainly we're trying to grow that, because that's where Corey's focus and love is right now.
When it's time to ship cattle to the family's facility in Kansas, Lynetta enjoys pitching in. Even before taking on her responsibilities at the family business, Lynetta volunteered her time in public service. In 1985, she was appointed by the governor to the governing board of the Swanee River Water Management District and served for 14 years, 10 of which as chair.
Well, the reason she was a chairperson for 10 years of this district, which is a state record, is because she was always open and willing for other people to express their ideas and suggestions. She didn't try to dictate the conversation. She allowed other people to speak and be a part and become involved in the process. Lynetta is certainly a consensus builder. She's been able to bring the environmental community in, the agriculture community, and the other stakeholders to making sure that we can reach common ground. She's just that type of individual you want to be around. She's fun, she's always upbeat, she's always positive, and extremely bright, very articulate, reads a lot. She's just the type of person that you want representing your organization.
What stands out to me is she's 5'3", and when she walks into a room, she commands the attention of it. Most people, if they want to get everybody's attention, they have to make a scene or something to make people look around, and all she has to do is speak up and people look down.
Lynetta has been and continues to be a tireless advocate for the working forest in Florida.
We believe that working forests work.
Lynetta was asked to join the Florida Forestry Association's Board of Directors and has since served in every capacity.
Don't realize that forestry is such a big part of the ag industry.
Lynetta has been a tremendous asset for the association. She serves as the voice and the face of forestry in the state.
2 membership meetings again this
Lynetta
year.
has refocused, reorganized, and re-energized the membership of the association.
They can give to potential members.
Okay.
And
Got that.
when do we have to sign that and return it?
It should be signed by her knowledge and understanding of the industry enabled her to hit the ground running. She's a highly motivated, very intelligent leader, and as a result of that, she's highly respected among her peers in the industry.
In late 2012, she became the Florida Forestry Association's first woman president.
You know, people make a big deal about that. I didn't feel like I broke any glass ceilings or anything like that. It was just what I do. I don't really see things as male or female, you know, roles. It's just what you do because of where your interests are and what your passion is. Hey, what you got going on?
I was doing some research for ideas for another op-ed for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
Don't save a tree.
I think somebody has to stand up for agriculture, and I think in the past and even now, most people who work in agriculture are busy all the time with their work, and so they don't have the time to attend meetings and be out there and be the face of agriculture. The greatest threat to agricultural families, in my opinion, is the federal inheritance tax, also known as the death tax. I'm very blessed and fortunate that I work in a business where I can have that time to do that. And it's important. It's important for people to hear ag's message and how important ag is to the state of Florida, to the whole United States. Let's help protect those things that are so important to us.
She has a passion for agriculture, and she has a real understanding of how important agriculture can be to land conservation.
So next we have the Alfred Greenway.
Lynetta serves as vice chair on ARC, the state of Florida's Acquisition and Restoration Council. The council deals with lands set aside for preservation. In her second term on the council, she provides insight from an agricultural point of
The
view.
livestock management plan called for a roundup of the bison. How did that go?
It was exciting.
I bet.
She really never lets the council forget that
All in favor, please signify by
agricultural
saying
folks
aye.
in Florida have a
Are there any
long
opposed?
history of land stewardship
Motion
that's been
carries.
essential to protecting many, many valuable resources in the state. And I think that that's a perspective that's really needed because there is a natural partnership between agriculture and environmental ethics.
She's invested so much of her time in so many ways and volunteered professionally, and she has so much experience managing important resource areas. And pulling all that together give her a base of understanding about forest and natural resource issues that very few people have. And so Lynetta has been, in my experience, a remarkable communicator for her profession, for her community, for generally land and water conservation issues. She's been spectacular.
She destroys a lot of myths about, gender, about rural education, about rural intelligence. I think she's a real gem in the rough, you know, and I think it's an extreme benefit to anything she does.
I stopped by because I'm out of local maps. There's so many people stop by and ask us for that.
Lynetta was a founding member and the first president of the Greater Chiefland Area Chamber of Commerce. She was also a founding member and director of the Swanee Valley Rotary Club. In 2013, Lynetta was invited to join the board of directors of the Drummond Community Bank, a position also held by her father.
This loan committee is one of the most important committees that she serves on. And because of her vast experiences and knowledge, we call on her from time to time when we have a complicated loan request. She brings insight into the industry, what's happening with commodity prices. She's invaluable to us. Whatever she does, she's going to leave it a better place because she was part of it.
Lynetta has done many, many things for us. It started years ago when we built this care center here. She was involved with the original steering committee to help raise the funds for this project. Since that time, she's been involved and she's transitioned into our community advisory board and has always been involved in fundraising and as an incredible advocate for what we do here at Haven Hospice.
Where are we with sponsors?
We're actually ahead of last year. We're at 33.
And I can tell you, more than any other community advisory board member that we've ever had, we've taken Lynetta's input and guidance to heart and implemented many different things that she's suggested that have made us even more successful today than we were before.
I think if you're just showing up and doing things, whether it's for Haven Hospice or for the Chamber of Commerce, if you're there and they get to know you, then they get to know ag, and they get to know what kind of people are involved in ag. And they learn that it's not just a livelihood, it's a lifestyle, and how hard we work. And I think that that creates the respect and the understanding that we want people to have for agriculture. One log-a-load check came to me and want to be sure it gets in before the end of the year. Do you know what our total is? One way that we're involved in more of an ag-related charity is the log-a-load.
First of all, Ken, how did log-a-load actually start?
A group of loggers in South Carolina got together and they were trying to figure out what they could do to help their communities.
We raised money for Children's Miracle Network at Shands Children's Hospital in Gainesville. And we're very proud of log-a-load golf tournaments. It's called the Tommy Usher log-a-load. And over the life, we've raised almost $500,000.
It's important to Lynetta to do her very best at whatever she undertakes, whether it's helping care for our elderly parents. Mother is in a nursing home now, and her room is the prettiest one there because Lynetta decorated it. And she's always so beautifully dressed because Lynetta picks out her clothes and irons them when she goes to visit. She gives her heart and soul to whatever she undertakes.
She's got very broad shoulders. She takes on a lot more responsibilities than the average person, and she handles them in stride. On top of being the first female president for the Florida Forestry Association, right during that same time period, my dad came down with cancer.
In January of 2013, Ken was diagnosed with throat cancer. And I think Ken suspected it. He was prepared for that, but I was just totally devastated.
She held together, and you'd never even know it without being close enough to the family to know what we were actually going through.
Yeah.
Lynetta was beside him every step of the way. She was his rock, and we all witnessed that.
Ken went through radiation and chemo in Gainesville every day for 30 days, and that is something that we could not have done without the support of family and friends and the community that we live in. We're just really blessed to have such loving families on both sides. Ken has 2 sisters and his parents and extended family, and they were incredible during this past challenging year that we had.
Dear God in heaven, thank you for this beautiful day and help us to be good friends as so many people have been to us.
The challenges that the Griners faced have made them appreciate their friends and loved ones more, and they relish spending time with them at the farm.
I was reading an article and it said that you have to be willing to let go of your plan for your life so that you can really live the life you're meant to live. And I guess that really speaks true in my life and in Ken's life, because we had plans that did not include where we are today. But we're glad that we were able to let go and let our lives happen like we think they were supposed to happen. I don't know that I have a philosophy about life, but I think that if you get up every day and do the best you can and try to do better today than you did yesterday, I think that's about as good as it can get.